Hi, I'm Libby Mills, and I'm the Senior Director of VOA Justice, and I oversee the Restorative Justice programs within VOA. We joined VOA in January of 2020, and prior to that, we were a small nonprofit called Restorative Justice Louisville. And when we were Restorative Justice Louisville, we knew we were going to need to find ways to grow, to serve more people in the community, and as well as try to provide our services across the state. And so we had the opportunity to talk with Jennifer Hancock, the CEO of VOA, and we found out that our missions aligned, and we thought it would be a good idea to continue discussions. And those discussions ended up with us joining VOA and establishing a new division within VOA called VOA Justice. What we do in terms of the restorative justice and restorative practices is we offer diversion options for youth who are involved in the justice system, as well as adults involved in the justice system. And with that, we facilitate a restorative justice conference process that allows the people who are harmed by crime or the victims of crime to be able to decide if they would like to meet with the people who are charged with committing those crimes. And like I said, we work with youth as well as adults. So that's one part of our program, and we provide that service here in Jefferson County. We provide the youth diversion option in southeastern Kentucky, and we're adding additional counties as I speak. And then also in Jefferson County, we're working with young adults providing that option. Restorative practices, and especially in the criminal justice system, allows for people who don't necessarily have a significant voice in the justice system to be able to have that voice, such as the people who are victims of crime. And it allows them to be able to express what happened to them in a way to the person that actually harmed them, as well as ask questions that they may not be able to ask in a court process, or they may not think about while they're in a court process because it's so stressful. Another thing it allows for the people who have been charged, involved in crimes, to be able to begin to understand the impact of their behavior. It's not just that I broke a rule, it's not just that I broke a law, it's just that my behavior has impacts on others as well as myself. And those others can be family members, those others could be neighbors, those others could be neighbors and family members of the persons that they harmed. So when harm occurs, the impact ripples. Our team involves, of course, our staff, which we have case managers and supervisors, as well as volunteers. We have a wonderful cadre of volunteers that we train to help facilitate the restorative justice process in the community. And they work very hard to become very skilled and very involved, and they're very committed to the process. And we could not do what we do without our volunteers.
One of the things that I really like about restorative justice is it is a process, a conference process. And the young person who caused the harm is sitting across from the victim. And it's a great opportunity for the young person to take accountability for their behavior, for their actions. The nice thing about the process for the victim is it helps to bring closure for the victim. It helps them to understand better what happened and why it happened. And the end goal of the conference process being the victim and the person who caused harm to actually work out an agreement on how that harm can be repaired. The agreement is in writing, and it's signed by both parties, and it is monitored by restorative justice. And once the agreement is completed, it's turned into the court system. You know, and please understand, these kids are no different. The kids that we see are no different than you, me, our kids. They happen to make a mistake, and they're willing to participate in the restorative justice process to make that mistake right. And at the end of the day, if I can make a positive impact, regardless of how small that impact is on someone's life, particularly a young person's life, I'm happy, I'm satisfied.
What restorative justice does is it's a process that facilitates a discussion and questions and meeting face to face for people to learn who each other are, to learn what brought that young person to that point where they made the decision to do what they did, to understand how I fit in the community, to be able to see that. Because in a restorative justice process, there's always that moment when the person who's been charged it's almost like they become very humble, and everybody in the room feels it and sees it. They may not recognize what they're feeling or they're seeing, but it's there. And you could start a final conference with everybody being us and them, and when that moment happens, it becomes we. And all the we is directed at how do we support this young person.